Johnny Manziel was the most exciting player in college football. But I want to tell you how we can all relate to Johnny Football. Hi, my name is D.A. Bourne, and welcome to The Blessed Opinion. I'm a Christian fiction author, and I'm bringing you pop culture, sports, whatever it is, from a spiritual perspective. Anyway, let's talk about Johnny Manziel. I watched the Untold episode about Johnny Football, and it was fascinating. It was also, kind of sad the way that it turned out. Let's talk a little bit about Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel was a star college player at Texas A&M. Huge following. He played with a freestyle fanatic style where he did what he felt, and he was an exciting quarterback. He ran for touchdowns, he threw dynamic passes. He got this huge following in his freshman year at Texas A&M. He won the Heisman Trophy in his freshman year, which is unheard of. I think he was like the first person to ever do that. So he won the Heisman Trophy. And then after he wins the Heisman Trophy, he had such a huge following, and he had jersey sales all over. I mean, people were buying his jerseys left, right, and center, buying his merchandise. And it got to the point where he didn't like the fact that people were buying his merchandise and he wasn't earning any money for it, which had been a problem in college football for such a long time. And he wanted to take advantage of it. He pretty much said he wanted to give college football the middle finger, the NCAA. So what did he do? He made a deal with a business person, and he ended up selling autographs and getting cash money for it. And he was making thousands upon thousands of dollars. So while he's there playing football, he's there making money, left, right, and center. And it was all underground. It was all, all cash. So he didn't have to write it off or anything. And then even when he was looking like they were suspicious about how he was going to big concerts and nightclubs and driving all these fancy cars and all this stuff, they were all wondering, how is he having all this money? And his friend, who was also his manager at the time, started this rumor that his parents came from oil money. Because he lived in Texas, right? So Texas oil, the connection right there. So the media and everybody thought, oh, Johnny Manziel's rich. Johnny Football's got oil money. So they were riding off of that. Meanwhile, his parents were just normal working blue collar parents. But anyway, this was just to hide the fact that he was making so much money on the side. So while he's there playing football, in his sophomore season, he's there partying, making money, getting high, getting everything he wants. In the meantime, his sophomore season wasn't that great. They started losing some games. They had a winning record, but it wasn't like not like his freshman year. So anyway, they felt there was time. Okay, I need to go into the draft, so I can just escape from all the scrutiny and everything. I need to get into the draft. So the whole draft selection thing comes about, and he gets an agent. He actually had to drop his best friend, his manager, because they said he needed to improve his image. So all they were doing during this whole draft selection at this time, he's improving his image, trying to make him look like, okay, I'm a good person. I'm not a party person. I'm not a under the table type guy. I need to improve my image to get into the NFL. And he almost messed up again, because even during that process, he had a clean image for a while, but then one night he just gave in and he just started partying and everything like that. And then so he got back into the whole, partying, and his draft selection was coming up, and they had to do a whole cover up thing and to get his image back in, back to where it was. And you got one of the NFL teams that were a culprit the Cleveland Browns, they drafted him late in the draft. He got drafted. So for most college athletes, that's a great thing. You're in the NFL, so now you can start making money. You can start making millions on the legal side. Don't have to do the under the table thing. But that didn't do it for Johnny. And one of the quotes from the documentary, it blew my mind when he said it. And this is while he was, after he was drafted. In the documentary, he says, I had every single thing that I could have ever wanted. You have money. You have fame. You're a first round draft pick battling for a starting quarterback position. And when I got everything that I wanted, I think I was the most empty that I ever felt inside, Manziel said in the documentary. I would sit in my condo in Cleveland downtown and just feel like it was the only place that I can get away from everybody and anything. And I would look out those windows every day and I just felt empty. I went from one fishbowl city to another and I wanted nothing to do with football. I wanted nothing to do with stepping out on that field. And I had bigger issues in my life than being able to go out and play free-spirited, flowing football. Wow. That's a deep statement. So Johnny had everything that people offered, everything that you could ask for, but he felt empty. And this is the reason why I feel that we could all relate to Johnny Football. Because we're either in two situations. We either have had an empty void or we're presently having an empty void. And when you have an empty void, that means you can have everything you need in life, but there's that empty void that makes you want to do something extra. You know, for some people it's drinking all the time. For some people it's getting high all the time. For some people it's, playing video games or doing something that's addicting. Or, for some people it's having sex all the time or having a different person all the time to have sex with, being a player or whatever it is. It's an empty void. And then some of us had an empty void, but we filled it. And most of the time it's something spiritual that fills that empty void. And a lot of times it's when Christ comes into our life and it brings that joy and that peace that we've been looking for. The best way to put it is through Matthew 16 verse 26. And it says, and what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your own soul? Is anything worth more than your soul? Is there anything that's worth more than your soul? You got people out there who sell their soul just to get fame and fortune, to get all the riches and to be on TikTok doing crazy, stupid stuff. But you're filling the void. At the end of the day, it's still empty. And that emptiness can be filled with having Christ in your life. And if you're looking at this and you're like, I don't have Christ in my life, then maybe it's something worth looking for. It's something worth looking for because you keep doing these things that you think are going to make you happy. But at the end of the day, it's still not making you happy. So that's just something that you got to keep in mind. At the end of the Untold documentary, I'm not saying it didn't look like Johnny found Christ in his life. I don't think he did. And it looks like he has some peace because he's not that person that he used to be when he was on the football field. But he's still looking. You could tell at the end of the documentary he's still looking. And for some of you, you guys are still looking too. And I hope that one day you do find what you're looking for. But that verse, Matthew 16, verse 26, is something worth checking out in your life. If it is something where you really need God to fulfill that void, let Him be that void that you're looking for. Anyways, this is the Blessed Opinion. If you liked this video, please click it. If you want to subscribe, I ask you, please subscribe. Fill in your comments. What do you think of the Johnny Manziel Untold documentary on Netflix? Put in your comments there. I appreciate you watching. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, and till next time, this was my Blessed Opinion, and I'm out.